Hello again, Gooners. Yes, I'm absent, in a way. Absent. You can put an A for that because there is no A in my A, B, C, D, E, F, G of transfer news concerning Arsenal because not much going on, you might say. And then again, you might not because I can prove the contrary. In fact, I can't prove it, but I can give you a bunch of stories that may indeed make you reconsider your position as to whether or not we are busy on the transfer front. We have made one signing, more on that later. Don't get too excited. Really, do not get too excited. Anyway, I was going to go visual and then I decided against it. Why did I decide against it? Face for radio, all those gags that you've heard many times before from radio presenters. The question is, do I have a voice for radio? Well, if you think so, well, do send me a paycheck and a contract, and I might even do a bit of freelance radio again. Anyway, what have I got? I did promise you an A to Z, but in fact, it's not really that. Loads of B's coming up. Loads of B's on the transfer front. Loads of C's. 1 E, 1 F, 2 M's, 1 P, 1 R, 1 S, a couple of E's. So, well, you can tell my excitement level is a bit low compared to last week. Last week, it felt like the world was my oyster and Cesc Fabregas could have been coming back to Arsenal. That's how it felt. Even though there were these rumours, there were these dark clouds, dark blue clouds with CFC etched inside that suggested to me that perhaps, just perhaps, Chelsea might make a move for Cesc Fabregas. And perhaps we'd be stupid enough not to make a move. Obviously, there have been various reports, some people saying that Cesc really was not a no-go, but a no-brainer in as much as we shouldn't bring him back. Not really sure why anyone would think that, but now, of course, you can see pictures on the internet of Cesc's old Arsenal jersey aflame, alight. And that's something I never ever thought I would see. So really disappointing. The only thing you can say, some people have made some humour out of it. There's a guy called the Football Jester, and I'll come to something quite similar to that in a moment. But first of all, the Football Jester, he's put this tweet out there on Twitter, of course. And anyway, he's put, Chelsea allow Frank Lampard to leave and replace him with Cesc Fabregas a week later. Meanwhile, at Arsenal, Abu Diaby is fit. I found that amusing anyway. A bit like a Father's Day card that's completely cracked me up. It's got this guy, a typewriter, and it says, Dad was struggling with his Facebook application, and there he is typing on an old-style typewriter. But yeah, silly things make me laugh sometimes, and that being it. But it's black humour, isn't it, really? There we are, we're laughing that Abu Diaby is fit. He's going to fill the void. Not that there is a void in midfield, as a lot of people have pointed out. That's not the case. There are a lot of choices, but my argument is none of the choices are better in the passing department, in the legs department, in as much as how much grass he covers in a game as Cesc Fabregas. Plus, he's good all over. I mean, he hasn't really got a weakness to his game. Arteta's Fabregas light, as he's been described on many occasions. So why are we persisting with a captain who's getting older? Nothing against Arteta. He's been a good player for Arsenal, but good being the operative word, not a great player for Arsenal. Even though we've now had some success, not a lot, but some success. With Cesc, we didn't have an awful lot of success either, but it was the fact that we were supposed to rebuild a team around him. We let him down in that respect. So I really don't feel any anger whatsoever towards Cesc Fabregas. I'm not laughing about it either, even though I found the Football Jester's comment quite amusing. And obviously some people still maintaining that we shouldn't be upset that Cesc has moved on to Chelsea because we didn't need him. As I said, I can't go along with that idea because you go through the team. There simply isn't anyone as good in. There's Flamini who's a better tackler than Cesc, but aside from that, no one can play the killer ball as well as Cesc. And even Ozil, he can't do it. He would be second best to me. But obviously, we've spent an awful lot of money on Ozil, and we've got Arsene Wenger probably feels under a certain amount of pressure to make that signing work. Nothing against Ozil, because I think he will come good. But whether he comes good as good as Cesc, that remains to be seen. I don't personally think he'll be that good. And Cesc obviously nets us around about £5 to £6 million, or is it 5.6? I've seen various stories about how much money we're going to bring in. We did have that buyback option, which we've not exercised. So there he is. He's now a Chelsea player wearing the number 4 in blue. He also said on Twitter, once a gunner, always a gunner. Obviously, fans still very disappointed. But yeah, I really want to put a cheerful face on, but I just can't. Sorry. Talking of players that have left us, Bakary Sagna, it's now been confirmed he is heading to Manchester City, signing a 3-year deal. I'm not too upset about that. City, obviously, title rivals, as are Chelsea. But at this stage, I say title rivals, are we really serious about title aspirations? Well, perhaps we are. That is why we have signed Forsyth. Not Bruce, but this Forsyth is Shad Forsyth. He is our most important signing of the summer, apparently, because he will be heading up our fitness department. Tony Colbert, I'm not going to comment on how well or badly he's done in that position, because I don't think any of us really know. But we've certainly had a lot of injuries, and if Shad Forsyth keeps our players fit, then we've got to be pleased about that. I'm not sure it's going to make a huge difference, but perhaps I'm being cynical. Also, Vermaelen leaving might not make too much of a difference. Manchester United apparently favourites to sign Vermaelen, who in the pictures looking a bit under the weather. Maybe that's why we are ready to let him go, if that is indeed true. Another player who has looked a bit under the weather of late, some would say, although he has picked up a Champions League winners' medal and not doing too badly in the game Spain versus Holland. He made a decent save, although he got outwitted by Robin van Persie. But he's staying up. Iker Casillas, that is, he's staying at Real Madrid according to his boss Carlo Ancelotti. So any designs we had on bringing in another goalkeeper to challenge Szczesny, that's not going to happen apparently. We may have plans to bring in a Brazilian defender by the name of Bressan, as if that's going to appease the fans who are upset about missing out on Cesc Fabregas. The Gremio starlet, pictured here without his kit, which doesn't sound too good, but it's very hot out there. But you should see the state of the Gremio kit. You can see why he's willing to exchange that kit for an Arsenal kit. So, I mean, it really is awful. What about another player ready to up sticks and move to Arsenal? Could that player be Mario Balotelli? Possibly. Look at the shirt he's wearing. It's got Fly Emirates, so he's already considering which airline he should take in future. He's scored 16 in 38, according to recent statistics in Serie A. And we know what he's like in the Premier League. We've seen him in action enough, and he would be an interesting character to have around the place. It's certainly liven things up. I personally can't see that one happening. Not in a month of Sundays. Can throw a few Tuesdays in too, and there wouldn't be enough days of the week for Arsene Wenger to consider signing a player with his temperament, his disciplinary record. What about Bonny? Wilfred Bonny. Looks like Will Fried Bonny, but I'm sure he doesn't eat a lot of chips. But anyway, he doesn't want to move to Newcastle, according to reports. He wants to join a club with ambition. As I said, with us not signing Cesc, I'm questioning that ambition. But we have got money in the kitty at least. That £5 to £6 million obviously will be put to good use. Quite what use remains to be seen. Perhaps we can offer Cazorla a bigger wage packet to keep him on at the club. But then again, he has just signed a new contract. But reports from Spain suggest he wants to join Atletico Madrid. given those reports come from AS, renowned for coming up with transfer rubbish, I wouldn't put much credence in that particular story. Plenty of other stories doing the rounds that have very little credence at all. This one, though, may have a bit. Carlos Vela is unlikely to rejoin us, although I've read he is definitely joining us, and then I've also read he's definitely not joining us. Apparently, we want to negotiate a deal to keep him where he's at. Real Sociedad, he hasn't done too badly at all there, although he's not playing in the World Cup for Mexico. I think it was the player's decision. He decided back in February he wasn't going to take part in the World Cup. But apparently he wants to stay in Spain. I think his style of play is more suitable for Spain. And so, anyway, I don't believe he's going to come back to Arsenal. And if indeed he does, the story goes that we will, in fact, sell him because we can bring him back on the relatively cheap. We're, in fact, going to sell him and then cash in wherever else he goes. Wouldn't that be great if we sell him to one of our so-called title rivals and then he goes on to score loads of goals? That is the sort of familiar feeling I'm getting at the moment. And talking of title rivals, obviously Chelsea strengthening their team. But Samuel Eto'o on the way. He's a free agent now after his one-year deal is up. And apparently we, as well as Everton, are surprise contenders to sign him. He has been heavily linked with us in the past, but personally, I think we've left it a bit too late. He's not at his best anymore. I really can't see us signing a player that old at this stage in his career. So other players that I don't see us signing who are nevertheless being linked with a move to us. Stephen Corker, the ex-Spurs defender. He had a reasonably good season with Cardiff City, who got relegated. £8 million he cost them. And as well as ourselves, Liverpool are interested, and even Spurs would like to have him back. And I suppose we shouldn't be surprised by that. I'm surprised we're being linked. I'm also a bit surprised about us being linked with Colombian Jackson Martinez, but we always have to have a Martinez at the club, don't we? There was talk we'd have a Martinez as a manager, but obviously that's not happening in the near future. But anyway, this guy, the Colombian, currently with Porto, and he's got a lot of meetings going on, and apparently, according to a Portuguese newspaper, 40 million euros is the amount of the release clause. Can you imagine at all that we would sign this guy for that kind of fee? I think we can stop discussing that. One player I did have some belief we might sign was like Remy, but again he's had some temperament issues, so that kind of would really put Arsene Wenger off signing him. And he was on loan at Newcastle, did a reasonably good job while on loan up there from QPR. £10 million is the cost for the 27-year-old. I personally think it wouldn't be the worst piece of business we've ever done. It's worth the risk. Liverpool and Spurs are more likely to make moves. And the player himself would like to join Chelsea. I think we've heard enough of that kind of comment. Another player being linked with us, Pedro. He's been linked with us before, but the Barcelona player staying put. Arsenal being joined by Liverpool in the race to sign the player who's not going anywhere. And another race that's probably not going anywhere concerns Alvaro Morata. Well, the reason he's not going to go anywhere is because we're talking £24 million. That's pretty costly. And when you look at the amount of money we seem prepared to spend, it's negligible. And we seem to be going the way of trying to make a decent profit on the transfer front once more. So sorry about it being a bit downbeat this time. I did try to make it interesting. I probably failed miserably, but I gave it a really good go. And as you can hear, I'm a bit croaky. I'm not sure why. It might be the excitement of watching the World Cup. I'll tell you one player who I wouldn't mind signing. That's Ron Vlaar of Aston Villa. He's had a good game at the back I'm watching the Holland versus Spain game as I speak, but he's had a pretty good game. And I found out his nickname, which I didn't know before, is Roncrete, like concrete, because he's that tough. And that's what we could do with a tough presence at the back. obviously defensively we're not too badly equipped, but if Vermaelen's leaving and Bakary Sagna's leaving, then we do need to strengthen that area. So why not try and get Ron Vlaar some proven Premiership quality? That would be really nice, wouldn't it? And I think at this stage I want to get back to watching the World Cup, which has been reasonably good to watch so far, even though the hours of the day are not that convenient when it's been back to the UK. And so far I prefer the ITV coverage to the BBC, but I'd be interested to hear your comments. And any other players that we've been linked with that I missed out, do let me know about it. And what I'm intending to do is make this a Friday thing, because on Fridays normally I'm really buoyant and as bubbly as I ever get. But this time it was a Friday the 13th, plus I woke up to news that Cesc was signing for Chelsea, so you can see why I've really struggled to get in the mood. So no party hat on, which is why I thought I'm going to keep it audio. I'll consider whether or not I'm going to go visual again. Well, I will at some point, but whether it'll be next time, I don't know. But I definitely need to find a party hat somewhere and some streamers, because this place and my head needs brightening up. Until the next time, away.